minimizing charisma, maximizing intelligence, shooting someone in the crotch with a cannonball, thrust, propulsion. It's science-y.
Why you always gotta be blowing my spot up like that? There are my runes. There they are. I'm not mad. Science needs art and art needs science. They both need each other to function properly.
There are ways to figure out what the paper is really saying.
And then I'm ready to get on Twitter and yell at people about doing their own research on...
Oh, hold on there, sports fan.
Kyle Hill, everybody! He's the next generation of science communicator. I'm going to be too old at a certain point to do those terrible things to my body, and it'll be up to you.
He's got like a lion's mane. This guy's amazing. Kyle Hill.
I'm Boo Rambo.
The universe is indifferent to you. Whether or not you have amazing hair, the universe doesn't care.
How are trees pushing past this pressure limit? Ah! Behold, my balls. Now we're getting somewhere, but I still don't think it's worthy of G.R.R. Martin's suspender.
I'm totally right? Post up photos of my frickin' hair? Is that what you all want? No, you don't, weirdos.
Kyle Hill. Is your last name actually Hemsworth? What's going on?
Our resident Thor lookalike?
I prefer Black Friday Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, you know, if you need a haircut... No, of course not! We're not gonna send sharks with frickin' laser beams on their heads to an asteroid. We're gonna nuke it. You don't need Bruce Willis at all. Wrenched. Oh! Headshot! Oh! Kevin, turn on the monitor. Kevin, this transition better work. The blast doors can't. Kevin, turn it on. Kevin. Kevin, call his agent and have them call my agent.
Kyle Hill, happy birthday! Feliz Navidad!
I'm just a biologist. I don't know how this works. This is how you do science. Can I just grab it? Oh. Laws, corollaries. Bye-bye.
I know that global catastrophe isn't the most fun thing to think about all day unless you're me, so...
Are we gonna do some science, bro?
Lasers don't have that much momentum.
That's not how clockwise works.
Don't worry, you can do this even if you are not an AI.
Completes the boundary layer around a person to a dynamic. And I guess it matters what kind of dragon we're talking. Realize here is that the bigger the thing does.
If this kite is completely inaccurate, I'm gonna kill this guy and tell him to his face. You're wrong about physics. Not enough lift force. Oh.
Nuclear metal donut thing with magnetically confined star-like plasma. The radiation flux in here alone is enough to cause instant death.
That's really funny. I like that idea.
Hey, look at me. I'm a streamer. I have a bedroom. We know anything with a decapitation hazard deserves to,
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, that's good. That's fine.
Put it on PBS. I dare you. Chat. Hello. As I sit here in the social media observatory that is my gaming command center, it has come to my attention that there is another viral trend that this time has been identified on the surveillance program that is TikTok. Despite what the interesting thing about this viral effect is that, one, it is very much real. But two, despite what some articles and some other YouTubers with just D as their last name, despite what they say, this effect is very much explainable. But to do that, of course, we have to move from my social media observatory / gaming center here at the facility and move into the labs. Join me for office hours, won't you? Hello, and welcome to Office Hours, a live component of the facility where good old Professor Kyle invites you underneath the waves of the ocean to the facility here to allow you, all members of my security team, J-Bo, Heather, get everyone inside from the outside world. Allows all my professors, everyone, all the members of the facility to hit up your boy like Alyssa Rhonda did, right here in the chat for the next hour or so. Throughout that hour, we'll be taking your comments, questions, and corrections about all of the science over the course of the last time since we had office hours. It made me go, hey, what? Today, we'll be focusing. We're doing this early. It's not Tuesday, obviously. We're doing this on Monday because I have stuff to do tomorrow at live stream o'clock. So we are doing it Monday. Don't worry, you're not going crazy. But today, the focus of our nerdy efforts will be the hanger illusion. As I said, a powerful illusion that's very much, the hanger effect, that's very much real. And we'll be going through it. We will be actually explaining it because it turns out other influencers and articles about this viral effect didn't do their research. I know. Kevin, don't make that face. They'll cancel us if they see that. This guy. Anyway. As we do that today, as we go on our nerdy excursion, a nerd excursion, if you would. If you really, really, really want me to see something, you can try Super Chat, as you're seeing people do on the monitors wired up throughout the facility. I'll be trying my very best to get to any and all of those, but know that if I don't get to yours, doesn't mean I'm ignoring you. Kind of does. But everything that I don't see or get to goes towards operational costs here at the facility, towards our mission of education, entertainment, and fixing this light. Ah! My timing is... for example, as usual, we have Elizabeth Calvert, Liz, with the 20, one of the members of the facility. You can go to patreon.com/Kyle Hill and join the facility today to interact with me and our lovely little community at all times. Hey, Side Kyle, my tiny human Alex says, why do we get cramps when we exercise? I don't know, Alex. Hello, I hope school is going well for you, little man. I'm not sure. I would off the top of my head, I would guess that it's an excessive firing from contractions. So whenever you move the skeletal muscles in your body, you're contracting those muscles, and I would guess it is a contraction that you're not expecting, or a lengthened contraction from repeated input. But I don't know. Look at me. Does it look like I know anything about muscles? Alyssa Rhonda with a $100 donation. And let's pause today. So let's pause in the super chat so we can jump right into this viral effect. I'd like to get it out in its entirety, so that we can share it with the world. Alyssa Rhonda with a $100 donation. Been a while since I caught a live. Here's some catch-up simping for science. Thanks for all you do. Alyssa, thank you for supporting the facility and for helping me fix this light. Dang. Alpha Celestial with the $9.99. Hey, Kyle, big fan from Colorado. I have a question in regards to topic coverage. Could you cover the history, importance of sewer inspections to the home buying process? I'd love to hear your take. It's a little bit far afield from what we usually do here at the facility, Alpha Celestial, but if there's a scary warning sign involved, you know that I'm interested. K-Bar with the Canadian $5, and as I'm reading these donations, you know that we are currently trying to become a hair double for Chris Hemsworth. So, if there's any Australians in the chat, and you donate in Australian dollars, I will read whatever you type in an Australian accent that we're working on. K-Bar with a 5 says, really loved the Chernobyl video yesterday, probably my favorite topic from you, all gillied up. Started my interest in nuclear history, keep it up. We'll be taking your comments and questions from that episode about Pripyat near Chernobyl today. But before we get to that, of course, it's been a long time since I caught a live stream. Sorcha, get in here. It's time to talk about putting weird stuff on your head. Hey man, awesome hair. Lightspeed question. What if a starship's engine were designed to accelerate and decelerate both the ship and everything inside at the exact same time? Would it stop deaths? Accelerating and decelerating in space is just a matter of rate. Right? So humans are pretty good with accelerations and decelerations in the 1G regime, which is 32.2 feet per second, or 9.81 meters per second squared. We're pretty good at that. So if you're accelerating up to light speed, which you can't do, but if you're accelerating up to a high velocity, as long as you're increasing your speed only by a G or maybe a little bit more, everyone inside is going to be comfortable. And if you decelerate similarly and you have a seatbelt or whatever, you can do that too. Popped in to say you're awesome, Kyle, says Red Rex. Oh my God, first stream, I love you, Kyle, says 100 eyes. That's far too many eyes. Now take a look at this. Is a boat a wheel if it lets us drive on water, says hashtag more wheels. So you tried to break my brain with the doors versus wheels question last week. Don't worry, I filmed an entire episode on doors versus wheels yesterday. We'll get to it. Now, there is an effect that has been recently rediscovered by the espionage tool that is TikTok. And it is called the hanger effect. And it's called the hanger effect and not something stupid that a TikToker came up with because it is a legitimate scientific investigation. Now, what it is exactly what it looks like. You put a hanger on your head, and it is reported that around 90% of people will have some experience like this. So what this is, and what this woman apparently thinks is a demonic possession, what this is putting a hanger on your head, and the pressure will make you involuntarily turn your head one direction or the other. Now, before we get too much further into this, if you want to go try this right now, you can. You're going to need a hanger that can stretch big enough for your big old head, like I have here. I've broken one, so be careful. But big enough for your big old head. I'd like to know if it happens to you in the comments below. I can tell you that since 90% of people report feeling this effect, it might happen to you. It happens to me. So if I put it on here, oh, yeah. So this one's a bit, yeah, so I feel an involuntary urge to turn my head in that direction. That happens to me. It turns my head right. Yes, it happened. It does not do anything for me or my girlfriend. Oh my God, it just happened to me, says Ian. Be careful, I did it earlier, but the hanger was kind of thick and I still have a headache. Yeah, it doesn't feel great. Zoe says, yes, it happens to me. Got my hanger, says Steven. Nothing happened. But I feel like my head is turning. Bacon Akin says, this is bullshit. It's actually not. It's real. It's 100% real. I used to do this with a car jack. Nope, nothing. It happened to me. Yep, it happened. I felt the urge to turn my head, but it didn't actually turn. It totally worked. Can't wait to gift Kyle with that. Don't do that. I'm disappointed. Nothing happened to me. I feel something. It hurts a lot for me. Well, don't have a super tight one. Only have a slight turning effect. Only have wood hangers. That kind of hurt, but it worked. WTF. Oh, wow, it worked for me. I had to adjust it a little. You have to make sure it's on right. Nothing happened for me. Slight turn for me. Nothing happened. Feel silly. Well, yeah, you're going to look silly regardless. So, it seems like a good amount of you, it's more than zero, right? In the chat, it looks like it's 50% or so. But I can tell you that this does in fact happen. It happened to me when I first tried it. It happened to these girls. Involuntary. Oh, I just broke 2 hangers. That's not my fault. You can't bill me for that. Now, like I said, it worked on me, says Satan. Thanks, Satan. You can give that. This effect is a legitimate effect. It was discovered. in a very funny way. It was discovered back in 1995, I believe, all the way back in 1995 when life was simpler, on a Japanese TV show where some dude, for no reason, put a hanger on his head and then had his head involuntarily turn. So this was discovered in Japan, as you might surmise. And a little bit later, 20 years later, in 2008, it was codified into the hanger effect, where the authors, Kajimoto, Matsui, Saito, Hashimoto, discovered that this happens in about 90% of people if you do it correctly. Jess Gorman with the 20. First time catching you live, no question, just enjoy your content. Jess, I enjoy your support. Jessa with the 10. How do we know the melting of ice isn't just the Earth returning back to its normal state? I ask because woolly mammoths are frozen X deep in ice. That moment when most of your coat hangers are simply V-shaped. Jessa, we know that the melting of ice isn't the Earth returning back to its normal state, because when we look at the history of the world, that we can infer from geologic evidence, that we can infer from the concentration in gases trapped in ice cores. We can go to Antarctica or someplace like that. We can dig deep, deep, deep in the ice. We can extract that ice as ice cores, little cylinders of ice, and we look at the bubbles, the air bubbles in that ice, and that's trapped ancient atmosphere. We can use that to infer temperature, concentration, those kinds of things of ancient Earth. And when we look at the ancient Earth, or indirect evidence of what the ancient Earth was like, it is not like what we're seeing today. In terms of climate change today, we are warming at an unprecedented rate as far as we know from all of Earth's history. So, back to the hanger effect. So the hanger effect is a known thing, discovered on a Japanese TV show, and happens in about 90% of people. The next question is, what is the significance of this? And, sorry, I have allergies. The significance of this is pretty interesting. The researchers in Japan were trying to use this effect to help people who have movement disorders and issues. And the cool thing is that this effect works not just left and right on your head, but also up and down. And it doesn't just work on your head. If you have a hanger-like thing, which they created, let's see if you can see that. Yeah, so you can see that they created, different apparatuses on the head there and the aluminum chip force sensor thing. They created different apparatuses to make, they can put it on your wrist and it will make your wrist turn. And they can put it on your waist, and it will make your waist turn. Feel like you have to move your waist. Now, most coverage I see... No, it can't detect mental disorders. It might be clever. Now I lost my spot. Oh, I clicked a button. Hey, I don't just go back. They don't. Perfectly optimized production value. Now, despite what you will, and we're here now. Despite what you will see in the coverage of this hanger effect, most places that I saw said that this effect is unexplainable by science. No one knows. And I don't like that kind of thing. I don't like it because it gives it like a Ouija board or a spirit board kind of value. It's like, oh, the human body moves, but we don't know why, as if animated by some demon. It's 2022. These people didn't do their research. It took me a little while. But if you delve into the literature from this team that first tested and established the hanger effect, you will find in their papers very clearly a possible explanation for the hanger effect. Mechanism of action of the hanger reflex. And now, as I like to do on this show, I like to actually read with you bits of a scientific paper, because if you were just you, or you're not scientifically inclined, or you've never read a scientific paper before, they can be very obtuse in their language and their sentence structure. So let's see what it actually says. And I've highlighted what's important here, and we can go through that word by word if we have to. So what is a possible explanation of this, Philly D? These results suggest that the hanger reflex is triggered towards the direction in which the skin is sheared. Now, shearing is an engineering and materials term for material moving past each other, like this, or this. So a shearing force would be on your skin. Think of like, you know how people used to, kids on the playground used to grab your arm and do this, and it hurt? That is a shearing force. Materials moving past each other like that. So the shearing force they are describing on your head would be skin moving past each other that way, or whatever which way, but but it's a shearing force like that. Okay? And why this effect is explained by a shearing force, a movement of skin, and not just pressure, is because further up in this paragraph, you see, the results say they found that the head rotated medially when the skin was sheared to the medial side, and laterally when the skin was sheared to the lateral side, irrespective of the region of frontotemporal compression. They found that the peak value of skin deformation was highly correlated with the subjective strength of the hanger effect, which is to say that the more the skin is sheared, moved past each other by a hanger on your head, the stronger the effect is felt. So, what is the actual explanation here? The skin of the frontal temporal area deviates outward from the temporal line, right here on your head, but is impeded by friction when a wire hanger is worn on the head. In this condition, the individual may feel an urge to turn their head in the direction of the deviation to resolve the discomfort, but the skin keeps deviating even when the head is turned. So, what does that mean? That means, and again quoting from the paper, we believe that the hanger reflex is a sensory illusion induced by skin sensation where the individual believes that continuing to turn their head will relieve the discomfort. Now, I should say that this isn't, when it says an individual believes, it's more like your body doing this. It's not you consciously doing that. And that's why it's, no, this isn't a joke, says Deal With It. Just tuned in, isn't this a joke? No, it does actually work on a lot of people. So you're not conscious of this, which makes it so surprising if it happens to you. It is a sensory illusion. The pressure of a hanger on your head can cause a shearing action in your skin. Your body naturally wants to resolve this shearing. It doesn't want to be in a state of skin moving past itself. And so your head turns to try to catch up with this shearing force so that it goes away. But it doesn't go away because there's a stupid hanger on your head, and so your head keeps turning. Your body's unconscious attempt to resolve a shearing force in your skin is the possible likely explanation for the hanger effect, which again, I should say, people just tuning in, these girls aren't faking this. And I don't fake this. It works on me too. It is a real thing. So, the hanger effect is a sensory illusion caused by the shearing force put on your head and the skin on your head by a wire hanger. It can be triggered by anything that does it like this. It doesn't have to be a wire hanger. It was first discovered in 1995 on a Japanese TV show, some guy just doing it. Later on in 2008, it was actually studied, and it can be applied to different parts of your body with the same effect, and researchers hope that this kind of sensory illusion can help those with motor neurological disorders to get them to move in the right way. Bam! Take that, TikTok. That was pretty good. We did pretty good there. James Johns with a 5. Welcome back, James. So the fact that most people would turn their head with a hanger on their head is in fact not sheer coincidence? The shearing force just allows the spirits to enter your body and make your head move. How many angels can fit on the head of a pin? Who needs drugs when you can just wear a hanger? My boy Kyle says 10 to pigeon. Oh, and then you got nuked from orbit. That's what happens. I don't control the security team. Okay. The hanger effect is an interesting case of... I like things... little mysteries about the human body or about the universe generally getting traction because of social media. I mean, I rag on social media quite a bit, but there are interesting cases where a lot of people can learn something very interesting. All at once, by the billions or millions. And that's a very powerful thing that social media can do. But, you know, I think most of it's bad. Now I have a ruined hanger and my head didn't turn, says Virtually Real. Hangers are cheap. And I'm not paying for it. I just tried the hanger thing and nothing happened. Am I broken, says Osiris. Those are not mutually exclusive. Just wait, Kyle. I'm sure Neil deGrasse Tyson will come along to say the hanger effect is not cool. Did we talk about Neil yet? Sorry, I had the wrong thumbnail on the video. So, we talked about Neil in the last episode. You can do that. Red Moss says, why do people yawn, though? There's a lot of theories about yawning and what it's for. I'm not read up on the topic enough to know what the consensus on yawning is. I know that the contagiousness of yawning is due to, you know, social empathy and that kind of thing, but I don't know why. I know there's thoughts about exercising the diaphragm or getting rid of CO2 or in your lungs or something like that, but I don't know what the current consensus is. If you mess with brain just a little bit, you get a dysfunctional person. Thus, we can infer a newborn AI is out of scale insane. What about a mind upload, a brain devoid of hormonal stimuli, says Carlos. I'm going to be honest, Carlos, I'm not quite sure what you're talking about. But trying to evaluate a non-human brain with intelligence is going to be difficult. I mean, that's one of the big questions in AI. Why do you sneeze when you almost cry? What? I would guess it's tickling of similar nerves. Like when you pluck an eyebrow or a unibrow or something like that, and it triggers like a sneeze. It's because, I mean, those nerves are right next to each other. It's not magic. It's just tingly electrosensory bits in your head. Watching this is preferable to other stuff, says Michael Skinner. I agree. The impossible weight illusion, more physical illusions. Come on, chat. Kyle is an engineer, not a biologist. That's true. Are you looking forward to the Warhammer Magic the Gathering crossover? I've never played Warhammer. I know people ask me about Warhammer and possible science in it all the time, but I've never played, so not sure. I did preview a Magic the Gathering card today on my Twitter if you wanna check that out. Just talking about it made me yawn, or uh-oh. Damn it! Damn my evolved social nature. Do you think we could download consciousness into a molecule? Says Calvin Masters. No. Probably not. If you think of... In a very general sense, when we think of what could be conscious or not, in terms of humans or animals or, other creatures, we know that there is some relation to the size and complexity of the information processing system, the brain, right? So very generally, we can guess that something like a fruit fly is less conscious, has less of an experience than you. And that's just, simply put, you have more cells in your brain with more connections that can do more information processing. So, to answer your question, downloading your entire information processing system to something as simple as a single molecule doesn't make any sense. I mean, there's trillions of connections in your brain. So a single thing isn't going to work. Okay, more serious question. Christopheles with the 5. Do you think humanity tries to externally innovate to solve for problems they don't want to internally address through effort? No. I think people we are making things, and we innovate just to innovate. I don't think we're compensating for something we're not doing internally. That's like, looking at your phone whenever you have a spare moment because you can't think of anything better to do than to reflect on your own emotions and mental health. Okay, peer review. So, on the latest episode of The Facility, we re-released part 2, chapter 2 of my Chernobyl adventure. This time we went to Pripyat, the most famous ghost town in the world. Arguably. So this was the city that was purpose-built for all the workers, scientists, engineers, technicians who would work in Chernobyl at the nuclear power plant. What was to be the most advanced and most powerful nuclear power plant in the world. It was evacuated in a matter of hours after reactor unit number 4 exploded. I went there. I went to Chernobyl. I was in Chernobyl for a week. And we explored and explained Chernobyl and Pripyat as best we can. If you haven't seen the video yet, I'm going to put it in the chat right now because I would very much appreciate you watching it. I press a button. I very much believe that it's probably one of the most professional things I've ever done and most important things I've ever done. And I would appreciate if you watched it. But it was the last episode of The Facility. And as usual, I like to go through the comments and make one of you an honorary member of The Facility. I want to see what you have to say about what we're putting out into the world. And so, Kylo Riggs, I did not want this to end. Kyle is such a compelling storyteller, especially on a story like this. Thank you for taking us on a journey like this with you, such a haunted but beautiful place. Something that I want to get across. You look like Chris Hemsworth as Thor, says Jimmy James. What? Balderdash. Something I wanted to get across with this video series, which is still, we haven't even released half of the stuff I shot, or we shot, one of my Kevins and I. One thing I want to get across is that Chernobyl, the exclusion zone, Pripyat, Chernobyl City, they are not like what you think. It's not like what you see in Call of Duty or Fallout or anything like that. It is a snapshot of a town in the middle of a disaster, and it doesn't look like what you think. The radiation levels aren't like what you think. It is a haunted place, but not haunted in a metaphysical way. It's there's so much. Being a snapshot, you can almost feel the memories there. You can see the memories there. You can touch the memories there. You can touch the ancestors of the dogs that were left behind. They roam around the zone. We have a video on them too. But it is an amazing place. It's not like Call of Duty. Video games have been lying to me. But I gotta give, especially the autumn colors made the entire place look even more beautiful. It says Koopa, welcome Koopa. Do they have a gift shop? Chernobyl City has a gift shop, yeah. I bought a hat. Support the local ecosystem. Yeah, we went last October, and it was beautiful out. Gorgeous temp. Ukraine is beautiful. The zone is beautiful. It looks like, it looks like, European forest. It's kind of gorgeous. Are the dogs mutated? Says Calvin, says Crazy Clownfish. That is a loaded question. Everything is mutated. You are mutated. Every time an organism reproduces, mutations arise. That's how evolution works. So I think what you're implying, you're asking, are the dogs mutated in a way that is detrimental to their health, or that they have 6 legs or something? No. They are undeniably mutated, as everything is, but mutated in the way that you mean? No. No, they are not. Anyway. I gotta give the top comment to, I can't pronounce this name. I don't know what it says, but I want to read it because it's someone who was there. As someone who's been to Pripyat twice, I want to say there's something about, I'll try, since a lot of you say you like my narration voice for whatever reason, I'll try it now. As someone who's been to Pripyat twice, there's something about that place that words can't describe. A mix of fear, sadness, peace, and hope. An invisible threat, a promise unkept, an empty bird's nest, a still image of the long-gone past, and again, a place of the silent forest and home to the wild beasts. A place like no other. If you've been to Pripyat once, sooner or later, you'll start feeling the call. P.S. Mad respect to Kyle for such a respectful approach to a place of great pain and sadness. Now, I didn't read that comment in full until just now, reading it live. And that's a hell of a paragraph, man. Wow. If someone could tell me what that name actually is, I'll say it. But, damn, dude. See, that's the kind. When the writing is really good, it can elevate an entire thing. You wrote that. That's a really good paragraph. As a fellow communicator and someone who spends weeks writing these essays for which the scripts are made, that was a hell of a paragraph. And I don't know why people like my voice, my narrator voice so much. Thank you. That's not something that I've ever recognized about myself, but y'all seem to like it, so I'll keep doing it. But that was an amazing paragraph from someone who has apparently been there, and I think sooner or later you'll start feeling the call. And when the call is in caps like that, sounds like the start to an amazing story or novel or horror story. And I think I know what you mean. I want to go back. I want to see it again. Slavic Odessit is the name. It's not Revolver Ocelot, John. John, I'm trying to... We were having a moment. Slavic, you are now an honorary member of the facility. And keep writing like this. If you want to do stuff, keep doing stuff like this. You're fantastic. John is not. I would sink on the Titanic to you narrating the accident, says Anonymous Freak. That seems like a little much. You do have a very reassuring narrator voice. Hey, all right. Awesome. Some people say that I sound like Will Wheaton when I speak, and I don't. So, shut up. Question about radioactivity from James Johns. I'm actually creating a board game using rapid mutations. At what proximity and how many rads would this be possible? So that's a complicated. What the WTF is this hanger crap about? Says I Smokey. Just rewind. Just rewind the video. Have you seen how they changed the YouTube? Look down below. How they changed how the comments and the title and the description appear. I don't like it. Anyway, how close would you have to be at what radiation level to induce mutations again? This is why I make videos on radioactivity. It's because this is a complicated question. That's more complicated than you think. Radiation alone doesn't just mess stuff up. What dose, what rate, what distance, what time, what source, all of this matters. I am staring at a piece of uranium glass right in front of me. It is radioactive. It will not induce any kind of real mutation, significant mutations in me, by which you really mean destroying some of my DNA in some of my cells in some part of my body. But which part of your body? That super matters. If you get irradiated, if I held, I have a piece of uranium ore here, and if I held that piece of uranium ore next to my brain for a while, it wouldn't make it through my skull and it probably would be fine. If I swallowed it and it was in close proximity with my intestines, real bad. So, Johns, thank you for the 5, but I can't answer your question completely because it matters. All the other things matter. Andre Thompson with the 5 says, Kyle, I love the narrator voice because it reminds me of Carl Sagan. High praise, my man. Your Pripyat video was amazing. I eagerly look forward to the next installment. The next installment of that particular series will be going inside of the new safe containment. Inside the dome to see the sarcophagus up close and personal. I went inside. I saw reactor number 4. And it was a hell of a thing. So you'll see that. And for all of you who are talking about narration and communication stuff, little pro tip for you. It's not just about your voice. It's about your intonation, how you're saying things, your energy level, and your pacing and your emphasis. So there's a difference between you can read something in a way that gives the listener or viewer a different feeling. So when I make the nuclear documentaries or the Chernobyl documentaries, I am coming at it from a place of respect, in a somber place. I'm not, coming at it like, whoa, Aria, what are we going to do today? That would be at odds with the subject matter. And so you go into it with an idea of your tone and your pacing. So, for example, reading the chat, Jules Verne, 1668, says, in all seriousness, Kyle's voice is why a lot of us come here. Now, I'm performing a live program for you right now. In all seriousness, Kyle's voice is why a lot of us come here. And now, same exact sentence, different intonation and emphasis for the feeling you want to get across. In all seriousness,
Kyle's voice is why a lot of us come here.
It's not... It's not like a... It's not magic. It's just thinking clearly about what you want to say and how you say it. And practicing it, you know? Your hair is better than your voice. I mean, of course, it's inarguable. By the way, in all seriousness, why do you leave the chat on, says Hayden Schaefer? Because this is what the whole show's... By the way, chat, I have a secret for you. I got a new tattoo. And it is a tattoo commemorating my trip to Chernobyl. It is something I saw there. Game over, Jesse. Your newest video was amazing. Thank you for all your hard work. Jesse, thank you. Got a new tattoo here. What is it? Wouldn't that be funny if it was nothing? What is it? It's something. And it still hurts. Should have gotten a face tattoo. I leave that up to Posty. Kyle just Neil deGrasse Tyson dust about his narrator voice as Tyrannosaurus Rex. No, if I was going to Neil deGrasse Tyson you about narrator voice, I would do something like this. You know, I'm not going to... Never mind. Never mind. I'm not going to do an impression. Can you show your new tattoo? Says Tam. Tam, straight from the Discord and the facility. No, Tam. I will reveal it to facility members first. I'm not gonna just do it for all these freeloaders here in the chat. Come on, you're killing me with this tease, says Koopa. Koopa, you're already a member. Don't worry. Man, all these... You savage... Everyone's making me feel a little cooped up here. Okay, I gotta get some fresh air. To change the subject just slightly, what would happen if Mary Poppins turned her bag inside out? Says Prawn Joe. Objects that are larger on the inside than the outside can't exist spatially. So I don't know. I'm still subbed to your Twitch, but miss your streams there, says Ron. Yeah, so I kind of moved all the gaming stuff to YouTube because I wanted... It's not because I have something against Twitch, although I kind of do. But it's more so that I want everything consolidated into an area that can kind of cross-pollinate. That's the only reason. Game over, Jesse. Says, what do you think of the person who was sick from radiation but kept alive to study? What, you mean Marie Curie? I respect anyone that works through hardship of anything. Not just science is hard, everything's hard. That's what adulthood's all about. I want to know why cold foods taste warm and hot foods taste cold if they come to room temperature. Why cold foods taste warm and hot foods taste cold. I think, says Sandra, I think part of that has to do with your expectation. You can frame as though I'm about to eat something hot or about to eat something cold, and whether or not you have a discrepancy in your experience could inform how you feel. So, you know, if you reached out for your cup of coffee like I just did, and your hand passed through it because it was a hologram created by some malevolent force, that change in expectation would surprise you and might give you a different sensation. This is why... Get closer to me. That was a mistake. This is why hot foods tasting cold or cold foods tasting hot, whatever. This is why there's a very well-known effect where, say, for example, if you make some very tasty food, but you make it a color that is considered disgusting or an indicator of badness, it will taste bad to people. So I forget if it's steak or French fries where the actual study was done. But if you made steak or French fries green, people will report it tasting less good. Or, even more interestingly, you can change the color of the plate the food is on, and people say it will taste differently. So, taste, touch, sensation itself is an amalgamation of everything. All of your senses go into what each sense feels and tastes and smells like. You know? So I get what I'm getting at is that I bet if I gave you a blind taste test of like hot or cold food that has gotten colder, or hot food that is cold food that has gotten warmer, or warm food that has gotten colder, but you couldn't see it, I bet you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. That's what I'm getting at. Oh yeah, Empress Lizard says, I remember they tried to make pink French fries several years ago and it didn't go well. Yeah, no, pink French fries, Crystal Pepsi, transparent, like water-looking Pepsi is a very famous example of people thinking that it tastes weird, even though it's the exact same thing, just a different color. Very well-known examples of other senses informing what you perceive. Remember the purple and green ketchup? I listen a lot when to Kyle when I drive and play games. He tattooed the beat he was starting at in the video. He tattooed the beat he was... It's hard to read and understand in real time. Flavor is heavily affected by hot or cold, actually. Ice cream will be way more sweet at warm temperatures, for instance, says Road Camelot. Why are you eating hot ice cream? Thanks for all you do. Kyle says, twinge with the 2. Keep up the good work. I realize that we got through our topics today pretty quickly. So if there's something, and it's a Monday. What? So if there's something that you want to switch to before I have to go take a bike ride and then work out and then put lotion on this new tattoo that I will not reveal to you just yet, let me know. I've had fried ice cream, but the ice cream itself is never hot. Why do you eat hot ice cream? Are you talking about like just goo? Are you drinking ice cream? Road. I don't want you to do that. Will you cover the Takimaru nuclear plant accident from 1995? That was the incident I was referring to, says Game Over Jesse. That incident is usually framed as like the most radioactive man alive, and there's horrible pictures that you can find on the internet. I see controversy over whether or not some of those pictures are actually of that person. So it's hard to source, but it's on the list. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. I gravitate towards topics that either haven't been covered a lot, or I think I can do in a way that is unique and interesting and has my voice. Have I watched Love, Death, and Robots yet? Not yet, Koopa. What's your workout routine? I have a personal trainer, 4 workouts a week, and then if I'm not working out, like mostly lifting and isometric stuff, then I'm doing a 10-mile bike ride. That's basically it. You played Vampire Survivor... Oh, I missed it. Have you heard about the Russian troops who dug trenches in woods of Chernobyl recently to hide there? They got kind of sick and eventually were evacuated. LOL. It says Chestnut. I have heard about it. A. B. It's not really funny. C. Just to be clear, I've not actually seen any officially verified reports of anyone getting radiation sickness, nor anyone dying, nor anyone being treated for that. As I've said in various places on this channel and socials and whatever else anyway, it is very unlikely, given the state of the zone and what is actually there, that these soldiers, misinformed and unintelligent or misled as they may be, that they got acute radiation sickness. that takes the kind of dose rates that you don't typically find where they were. And again, that's kind of what I want to get at, is that, yes, it's the exclusion zone outside of Chernobyl, but that doesn't mean it's a glowing green hellscape. Quite the contrary. It's quite pretty. Kyle, how many meals a day do you eat? Like 2. Protein shakes, lean cuisines, burger patties, too much beer. Parent's dad says, if Russia destroys their reactors in Chernobyl, would it cause enough emissions to contaminate the entirety of Ukraine? No. Something that I've been seeing more recently are officials and even articles saying that any nuclear reactor is potentially a nuclear weapon, and that's 100% not true. The conditions that are required to make something into a nuclear bomb are not what you find inside of a nuclear reactor. Even if you had a nuclear reactor meltdown, as in Chernobyl, it would not be the equivalent of a nuclear explosion, and it would not have the same ramifications at all. It kind of makes me angry. It kind of makes me... People have a short memory, you know? People have a short memory with regards to what nuclear weapons actually do. So when the bomb exploded over Hiroshima, Japan in 1945, over 100,000 people were instantly vaporized. 100,000 people in an instant went from beings like you and me to vapor, more or less. To compare that kind of thing to the kind of meltdown that happened at Fukushima, Chernobyl, or 3 Mile Island is ridiculous. Not even close. And it really demonstrates that you don't really know what you're talking about if you make a comparison like that. No. A single nuclear bomb going off in a major city today would be the worst thing that's ever happened. And it could destroy in milliseconds, it could destroy the global economy, vaporize hundreds of thousands of people. It's not even in the same universe of dangerous. Order of Animo with the 10 says, catching the very end, I've been working out and I'm excited to start rock climbing. Any advice for a newbie? Says Order. Order, the best advice I have, if you want to start rock climbing and start getting good at it, the first thing you do is just climb a lot. A lot of people view climbing as a novelty, and so they'll go, once a month or something like that. But the only way to get better at the movement, to strengthen your tendons, your forearms, to get your skin calloused up so you can climb for longer, the only way to get your body familiar with the kinds of positions, muscles, movement, is just to climb a lot. So if you want to get good at it, I would recommend going at least once a week. Then when you get really serious, twice a week. And then when you start getting really good, then you got to start training. Weight training and climbing specific training. But if you're just starting out, just climb a lot. You don't need good shoes. You don't need shoes that are any more than $80 probably. You can probably find them for less at like a Evolve or 510. Yeah. Don't look down when rock climbing. Yeah, I'm pretty afraid of heights. I boulder. Alyssa Rhonda with the 10. Thank you for all the support today, Alyssa. Do you plan on watching for the meteor shower at the end of the month? If so, any special plans, or just look up and say, oh, nice. Fun fact, one of Aria and I's first dates was trying to see a meteor shower, but we live in an area, as you know, possibly underneath the ocean or not, where there's a lot of light pollution, and we can't see crap in the night sky, which is unfortunate. I'm kind of embarrassed and scared to go rock climbing because I'm very weak. says Cat. Cat, I would not be embarrassed to go rock climbing. The thing about rock climbing that's fun to me is that it's an equalizer. If you're small and light, you could very easily be better than someone who's huge and buff. The cool thing about climbing is that it's technique based, and unless you do it a lot, most people are going to suck at it when they start. And so you can go with your friends and you can have various fitness levels. Obviously, if you're a little bit more fit of a person, you're going to do a little bit better. But generally, a lot of people are on a similar plane when they start climbing. So I wouldn't be embarrassed at all. Most people who go climbing are beginners. That's fine. Nimbus with a 10 says 6 years ago I dropped out of engineering from brain damage and undiagnosed ADHD. This year I'm in grad school and getting paid to travel to Japan to do VR and drone research, simping for science to say never give up, chat. Nimbus, what an example of perseverance, fortitude, mental wherewithal. Nimbus, congratulations. Getting back into academia, showing us what follow-through looks like. Nimbus, I wish you the absolute best in your education and your travels. Enjoy Japan. I would love to go there. What's your favorite S? Says Jace. The one that you draw on your notebooks when you're in high school. Didn't know Kyle and Arya were officially dating, but I ship it, says Raven Proton. You don't have to ship it. It's shipped. You know what I mean. What's your favorite conspiracy theory, says Jace Lucas. There are conspiracy... I mean, most conspiracy theories are kind of ridiculous, by definition. What's my favorite? I think a lot of them are actively harmful to society, so it's hard to pick a favorite. I don't know. I think they're kind of actively harmful to society, so... is hanger being spelled incorrectly an inside joke? Oh, son of a goodness. Is it? Oh, son of a biscuit. How dare you? Is that what y'all were talking about? God, I'm so dumb. Changed. Changed it. You look exactly like my father, says Namek. Chat. Chat, what did we talk about today? We talked about the hanger effect, spelled with an E, because I know how to English. We also took your comments and questions from the latest episode of Facility, where we explore the most famous ghost town in the world. There, boots on the ground in Pripyat. It's one of the most professional things I've ever created. So I would very much appreciate you giving it a watch. It's not going to go viral. It's not going to get a crazy amount of views, but I think it is important. And if you like nuclear stuff or you're fascinated by Chernobyl stuff, I would very much recommend it. There will be no stream tomorrow because I have stuff to do. But this week, expect a new episode here at the facility. It's going to be about evolution and Pinchy Boys. I've also recently been working on an episode about doors versus wheels because you dorks made me do it. I'll be traveling later this week to film some Magic the Gathering stuff. Look for that. I previewed a Magic the Gathering card earlier. What else are we doing? Right. Nothing. No matter where I see you next time, whether it's on the next episode of Office Hours, whether that's on the gaming channel, whether that's at the facility, which you can join, patreon.com/Kyle Hill. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week until I see you the next time. As always, if you want to continue on this conversation, get in the comments after this video is live. Join the facility at patreon.com/Kyle Hill. Join the Discord. Thank you to everyone who simped for science today. It helps me fix that light. Damn it. Thank you to everyone who commented. Like the video now. Subscribe if you don't mind. And until next time, be nice to each other. Because this is all we got. Okay, bye-bye. Take the hanger off your head, by the way, if you haven't. Kevin, do you still have it?